السلام عليكم. محاضرتنا لليوم بالشابتر الخامس شابتر 5 تحت عنوان What is creative thinking. طبعا بالبداية مثل ما تعودنا بكل شابتر تحت التايتل اكو فد quotation مالت هذا الشابتر: Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of a creative effort. إذن بعد ما اطلعنا على العنوان واطلعنا على الكوتيشن للشابتر الخامس شابتر 5، ننتقل الآن إلى القطعة. مثل ما اعتادينا راح أقرأ القطعة، وكالعادة مطلوب من عندكم الكلمات اللي هي في الأسفل، كل كلمة والتعريف مالتها. وكذلك في نهاية القطعة راح تشوفون 21 كلمات مفتاحية لازم تحفظوهم، وممكن يجون بالامتحان الفاينل. So, what is creative thinking? I once asked advertising legend Carl Ali what makes the creative person tick. Ali responded, "The creative person wants to be a know-it-all. He wants to know about all kinds of things: ancient history, 19th century mathematics, current manufacturing techniques, flower arranging, and hog futures. Because he never knows when these ideas might come together to form a new idea. It may happen 6 minutes later or 6 years down the road, but he has faith that it will happen." I agree wholeheartedly. Knowledge is the stuff from which new ideas are made. Nonetheless, knowledge alone won't make a person creative. I think that we have all known people who knew lots of facts and nothing creative happened. Their knowledge just sat in their crania because they didn't think about what they knew in any new ways. The real key to being creative lies in what you do with your knowledge. Creative thinking requires an attitude that allows you to search for ideas and manipulate your knowledge and experience. With this outlook, you try various approaches, first one, then another, often not getting anywhere. You use crazy, foolish, and impractical ideas as stepping stones to practical new ideas. You break the rules occasionally and explore for ideas in unusual outside places. In short, by adopting a creative outlook, you open yourself up both to new possibilities and to change. A good example of a person who did this is John Gutenberg. What Gutenberg did was combine two previously unconnected ideas: the wine press and the coin punch. The purpose of the coin punch was to leave an image on a small area such as a gold coin. The function of the wine press was, and still is, to apply force over a large area to squeeze the juice out of the grapes. One day, Gutenberg, perhaps after he had drunk a goblet or two of wine, playfully asked himself, "What if I took a bunch of these coin punches and put them under the force of the wine press so that they left their image on paper?" The resulting combination was the printing press and movable type. Navy Admiral Grace Hopper had the task of explaining the meaning of, of a nanosecond to some non-technical computer users. A nanosecond is a billionth of a second, and it's the basic time interval of a supercomputer's internal clock. She wondered, how can I get them to understand the brevity of a nanosecond? Why not look at it as a space problem rather than a time problem? I'll just use the distance light travels in 1 billionth of a second. She pulled out a piece of string 13 centimeters long and told her visitors, here is 1 nanosecond. In 1799, the musicians of Franz Joseph Haydn's orchestra got mad because the Duke promised them a vacation but continually postponed it. They asked Haydn to talk to the Duke about getting some time off. Haydn thought for a bit, decided to let music do the talking, and then wrote the Farewell Symphony. The performance began with a full orchestra, but as the piece went along, it was scored to need fewer and fewer instruments. As each musician finished his part, he blew out his candle and left the stage. They did this one by one until the stage was empty. The Duke got the message and gave them a vacation. Then there is Pablo Picasso. One day he went outside his house and found an old bicycle. He looked at it for a little bit and took off the seat and the handlebars. Then he welded them together to create the head of a bull. Each of these examples illustrates the creative mind's power to transform one thing into another by changing perspective and playing with our knowledge. We can make the ordinary extraordinary and the unusual commonplace. In this way, wine presses squeeze out information. String is transformed into nanoseconds. Labor gravenesses become symphonies, and bicycle seats turn into bulls' heads. The Nobel Prize winning physician Albert Szent-Györgyi put it well when he said, discovery consists of looking at the same thing as everyone else and thinking something different. Here are two quick exercises to give you a chance to think something different. هنا راح ينطينا تمرينين. كل تمرين creative thinking. بالتالي أنا راح أطلب من عندكم بالمحاضرة، راح أحط مثل الكويز exercise number 1 exercise number 2. أريد كل طالب يحاول إنه يفكر للإجابة على واحد من الاثنين، يعني يختار يا إما exercise 1 أو exercise 2. Exercise 1. An eccentric old king wants to give his throne to one of his two sons. He decides that a horse race will be run and the son who owns the slower horse will become king. The sons, each fearing that the other will cheat by having his horse run less fast than it is capable, ask the court fool for his advice. With only 2 words, the fool tells them how to make sure that the race will be fair. What are the 2 words? Exercise number 2. Can you think of a way in which you put a sheet of newspaper on the floor so that when two people stand face to face on it, they won't be able to touch one another. Cutting or tearing the papers is not allowed. Neither is tying up the people or preventing them from moving. Why don't we think? Why don't we think something different more often? There are several main reasons. The first is that we don't need to be creative for most of what we do. For example, we don't need to be creative when we are driving on the freeway, or riding in an elevator, or waiting in a line at a grocery store. We are creatures of habit when it comes to the business of living everything, from doing paperwork to trying our shoes to haggling with telephone selectors. For most of our activities, these routines are indispensable. Without them, our lives would be in chaos and we wouldn't get much accomplished. If you get up this morning and started contemplating the bristles on your toothbrush or questioning the meaning of a toast, you probably wouldn't make it to work. Staying on routine thought paths enables us to do the many things we need to do without having to think about them. And the reason we are not more creative is that we haven't been taught to be. Much of our educational system is an elaborate game of guess what the teacher is thinking. Many of us have been taught to think that the best ideas are in someone else's head. How many of your teachers asked you, what original ideas do you have? There are times, however, when you need to be creative and generate new ways to accomplish your objectives. When this happens, your own belief system may prevent you from doing so. Here, we came to a third reason why we don't think something different. More often, most of us have certain attitudes that lock our thinking into the status quo and keep us thinking more of the same. These attitudes are necessary for most of what we do, but they can get in the way when we're trying to be creative. إذا بعد ما أتمينا وانهينا القطعة، ننتقل إلى صفحة page 56. عندنا building vocabulary. هنا في هذا الشابتر راح نتعرف على شيء جديد في القراءة الاستيعابية، ألا وهو مهارات أو الكلام الخطابي. فمثلا عندنا نوعين من الأمور اللي نستخدمها في اللغة الإنجليزية وفي كل اللغات، اللي هي الميتافور والسيميلي، وبعدين راح ننتقل إلى نوع آخر اللي هو personification. فنبدأ أولا بالتعريف. A figure of speech is a way of using words creatively. هذا التعريف معناته إنه هي طريقة لاستخدام الكلمات بصورة إبداعية. Some figures of speech, metaphors and similes make a comparison between two unlikely things. إذن أول نوعين راح ناخذهم ألا وهم الميتافور والسيميلي. الميتافور يعني الاستعارة. طبعا راح تلاحظون هاي الأمور بكثرة في مادة الليتراتشر في الأدب، سواء كان بالبوتري أو الدراما أو النوفلز إلى آخره. إذن metaphor اللي هو الاستعارة. For example, he has a heart of stone. He has a heart of stone. بينما simile, she can run like the wind. She can run like the wind. نلاحظ أنه بالsimile وجود كلمة like. In a simile, the words like and as are used to compare two things. In a metaphor, one thing can refer to another thing without the use of like or as. إذا صار واضح الفرق، إنه بالميتافور نشير إلى شيء ما بدون استخدام كلمتي like or as. يعني من نقول هو أسد، هنا ما قلنا هو كالأسد. إذا قلنا هو أسد هنا metaphor. زين another type of figure of speech, personification, gives human trait to a non-human things. نوع آخر اللي هو personification، اللي إعطاء صفات إنسانية أو صفات بشرية إلى أشياء أو كائنات غير بشرية. مثلا the moonlight danced on the surface of the water. The moonlight يعني ضوء القمر danced يعني رقص on the surface of the water على سطح الماء. مثل ما نعرف أنه المونلايت ضوء القمر غير قادر على الرقص، لكن هنا سوينا personification، أعطينا trait للهيومن، أعطينا صفة للإنسان إلى شيء غير قادر على الأداء مثل ضوء القمر. يعني أعطينا صفة الرقص اللي فقط الإنسان يقدر عليها أو يقدر على أدائها إلى شيء غير قادر عليها مثل ضوء القمر. فهذا النوع من الفيجر of speech يدعى personification. إذن لهنا تنتهي المحاضرة. راح أرفق مع المحاضرة الفيديوية الحالية كويز بسيط حول صفحة 56 وكذلك من صفحة 54. شكرا جزيلا لكم.